this is muted, so it does not echo back. All right. We're going to be on the record in two cases, those being 2019 CR163. I'm sorry, I'm not going to call that case. We're going to be on just on one case, 2020 CR269, Captain State of Kansas versus Alexander Mitz. Would the parties announce their appearances, please?
May it please the court, Your Honor, the state of Kansas appears through Assistant District Attorney Adam Sokoloff.
Your Honor, Mr. Mitz appears appears through Zoom and with his court-appointed attorney, Rosmi Darkeli.
All right. We are here set down for a sentencing. This case had a little bit of a novel trip through the system here, as it was one of the first ones that we subjected to our criminal mediation program. That occurred back on October 16th. And at that time, there was a successful resolution by the parties, which was memorialized in a plea hearing in front of Judge Griffin. At that time, the revocation matter in the 2019 case was taken up. The defendant stipulated the violation in that, and Judge Griffin ordered the original sentence imposed, also ordered a pre-sentence investigation and sent the case back to me for sentencing. I've received that pre-sentence investigation, reviewed the same. The critical findings are as follows. The crime of conviction in this case is one of criminal possession of a firearm. That's the sole count of conviction. It is a severity level 8 non-person felony. The defendant's criminal history score was found to be that of B as in boy. That would leave him with a presumed prison sentence with a presumed underlying range of 18, 19, or 20 months. If he has to do that time, he'll be eligible for 20% good time credit and subject to 12 months of post-release supervision. Special rule number 9 applies, which is a crime committed while on probation or parole for a felony. If he was granted probation today, it would be for a period of 18 months to community corrections. I would ask you first, Mr. Sokoloff, did you have an opportunity to review the pre-sentence investigation? Any additions, corrections, or challenges?
I did have a chance to review it, Your Honor, and I have no comment or amendment to it. And just to be sure, my audio kind of went out briefly when you were calling the case, and I just want to make sure that I had the right one. We're on 20CR279. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay.
That is correct.
Thank you. No comment on the PSI.
All right. Mr. Tarkali, same question. Any corrections, additions, challenges?
No, Your Honor, I went over the PSI with Mr. Mitz. He has no corrections or challenges.
All right. Hearing no challenges, I will adopt the findings of the pre-sentence investigation for today's hearing. Mr. Tarkali, you filed a motion for a downward durational departure. You may be heard on that now.
Your Honor, I'm going to proffer this. This is an act. If you want me to present Mr. Mitz, I will present him as a witness. This case arose from a traffic stop. Mr. Mitz was a passenger in the vehicle, and the vehicle had a firearm. There was more than Mr. Mitz in that vehicle. I think there may have been at least 4 other people, if I'm not mistaken, and none of them claimed ownership. One of the person was let go, was not even questioned. Mr. Mitz realizes that he made a mistake by getting into that vehicle and not knowing what was in it. But that was not his intent to cause any problems with law enforcement. And he realizes his mistake. He originally wanted to fight this case, but after mediation, he realizes that he made a mistake and he should just admit it and go on and make sure that doesn't happen again. And that's where his position is, Your Honor. Thank you.
All right. Mr. Sokoloff, any comments on the defendant's motion for departure or other comments upon sentencing today?
Generally, Your Honor, I would say that this was a deliberately crafted agreement that took all things into consideration, both comments of the defense, the state's case, his existing history, all of those things we think resulted in this, and we'd ask the court to follow that plea agreement. He's obviously getting a major departure on this case. As the court noted, it's 18, 19, 20 months. You know, we're only asking you for 3, but he does have a not insignificant underlying sentence there. So we asked the court to look at this as a sort of global resolution to the issues Mr. Mitz has been having with law enforcement in these last couple of years. And we'd ask you to follow the agreement and impose the 3 months, granting the defense's motion for durational departure, and impose that consecutive to the 19CR163.
All right. Mr. Mitz, now is your opportunity to tell me anything you want me to know before I pass sentence today.
And there's really nothing to go on except the fact that I made a mistake getting in the vehicle, just trying to get a ride home, not knowing that there was anything in the vehicle at the time. You know what I'm saying? So I have nothing to really say except that, you know what I'm saying, I can man up and take ownership for my mistake of not realizing that some of the people that you try to catch a ride with sometimes ain't the best route. So I ain't got nothing to say on it. You understand?
I understand. All right. Mr. Taher Kelly, any reason why I should not now proceed to sentencing?
No, Your Honor.
All right. I'm going to follow the plea agreement. I'm going to grant the defendant's motion for a downward durational departure, find the facts and the circumstances surrounding the case, as well as the fact that the defendant is serving a substantial sentence under the prior case to be substantial and compelling reasons to depart from the sentencing guidelines. Therefore, he will be sentenced to the Department of Corrections for a period of 3 months. By operation of law and by order of this court, this sentence must run consecutively to the 2019 case. It is so ordered consecutive. Mr. Mitz is eligible for 20% good time credit and will be subject to post-release supervision duration of 12 months. There is no supervision fee to be taken up. Mr. Mitz, do you have a line on work when you get out of jail or out of prison? I'm sorry.
Actually, I got a couple of different routes. My sister and my brother have 2 jobs that they said that I could be interested in with my background history. So,
okay, all right. I'm going to order the court docket fees be assessed versus the defendant. Mr. Taher Kali, do you know what your appointed attorney fees are going to be?
I have not calculated them, Judge. I do not do that till after the sentencing because I don't know.
Sure, that makes sense, but I'm only going to assess $150 of that. Give Mr. Mitz a break when he gets out, that he's not just put in the poorhouse by the state. He doesn't need to pay a database fee. He's already in the Kansas database, so there won't be anything there. That's a total of roughly $350. I think if I order him to pay $100 a month once he's released from prison and placed on supervision, post-release supervision, that should be something that he could make and could be paid off well before he'll be done with that supervision. So that's the court's order today. Mr. Mitz, you have 14 days from today to appeal anything you don't like about your sentence. You also have the right to seek expungement after a period of time following successful completion of post-release supervision. As a convicted felon, it's prohibited for you to own or possess a firearm, certain kind of deadly cutting instruments like dirks, daggers, switchblades, basically knives that could be considered deadly weapons. I would advise you in the future to be very careful about your surroundings so that something like this doesn't happen to you again, okay?
yes, sir.
All right. Mr. Sokoloff, what do you know about jail time credit? I guess it all applies to the first case since they're consecutive, correct?
And we had applied everything up until, I guess, a few weeks ago. So I will recalculate and make sure that there's an additional, I believe, 27 days since we did the sentencing. But I'll check to make sure.
All right.
But we'll award all of those.
He'll be granted all that jail time credit. Anything else I've forgotten to put on the record today, Mr. Sokoloff?
Nothing I can think of. Thank you, Your Honor.
Mr. Taher Kali?
I don't know of any, Your Honor, but I believe I can
Sorry.
tell. Yeah.
Thank you. Just really quick, Judge, you ordered
Yeah.
fees. I did not hear you address the DNA database fee, or I just didn't hear it. I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
he's already in the database, so he
Okay.
doesn't need to pay that.
Okay, thank you.
All right. All right. Well, Mr. Mitz, good luck to you.
Appreciate it.
You bet. We are adjourned.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Judge.
Thank you, Your Honor.